Question was, see, question was a1, a2, a3 and so on, a and b real numbers. Fx was given x minus a1, x minus a2, x minus a3 and so on up to x minus an. We have to find x tends to a1 fx, means we have to put x is equal to a1. So here in this term we put a1 minus a1, a1 minus a2, a1 minus a3 and so on. So here a1 minus a1 becomes 0 and other terms are remaining same. So 0 into all the terms becomes 0. This was the first answer. Second thing we have to compute, that is x tends to a fx, means in place of x we have to put a. So a minus a1, a minus a2, a minus a3 and so on. This goes. So this was the answer second. Now let's see question number 30. We are given fx is equal to mod of x plus 1, mod of x plus 1, then 0 and mod of x minus 1. Limits are x is less than 0, x is equal to 0, x is more than 0. So what is the given the question? For what values of a does limit x tends to a exist? For what value of a? Means a is any real number. So here we have three functions. X tends to limit when x is less than 0. So this function is applicable. When x is equal to 0, this is 0. When x is more than 0. So we have LHL and RHL. See, LHL, limit x tends to 0 minus fx is equal to limit x tends to 0 minus mod of x plus 1. You can put direct value or you can change the limit also. Like for LHL, put x is equal to 0 minus h, where x tends to 0 and h tends to 0. We can write limit h tends to 0. Here we have 0 minus h plus 1. So this becomes minus h. Limit h tends to 0 minus h plus 1. If you put h is equal to 0, the answer is 1. By LHL we have 1. Now RHL. RHL, limit x tends to 0 plus fx. So we have limit x tends to 0 plus mod of x minus 1. Now change the limit. Put x is equal to 0 plus h, where x is tending to 0, h is tending to 0. So limit h tends to 0, we have 0 plus h minus 1. Limit h tends to 0, we have h minus 1. H is equal to 0, it becomes minus 1. So we see that LHL is equal to 1 and RHL is equal to minus 1. So we write LHL is not equal to RHL. It means this limit does not exist. So we write, therefore, limit does not exist. In the question, we are given for what value of a this limit exists. So at 0, this is not existing, means at all other values it will exist. So limit x tends to a exist for all values a is not equal to 0, means those which are not equal to 0, on that value this limit will exist. All right, this limit will exist. So this is the solution of this question. See, repeating this, we are given fx is equal to mod of x plus 1, 0 and mod of x minus 1. Limits are x is less than 0, x is equal to 0, x is more than 0. So we have LHL and RHL. We have LHL and RHL. For LHL, limit x tends to 0 minus fx. Limit x tends to 0 minus fx is mod of x plus 1. We have changed the limit. How? In case of LHL, we write limit minus h. Limit minus h. To put x is equal to 0 minus h, where x is tending to 0 and h is tending to 0. By putting the value, we have got 1. In case of RHL, this function, and we have changed the limit, put x is equal to 0 plus h. In case of RHL, we write 0 limit plus h, where x is tending to 0, h and h is tending to 0. So we have got the value minus 1. So LHL 1 and RHL minus 1, it means this limit does not exist. Then in what value this limit exists? So other than 0, means limit x tends to a fx. Limit x tends to a fx exists for all values a is not equal to 0. Got it? Any doubt? All right. Noted? Let's see. Question number 31. If the function fx satisfies limit x tends to 1, limit x tends to 1, and we are given fx minus 2 upon x square minus 1 is equal to pi. Then we have to find limit x tends to 1 fx is required. See, what kind of function is this? What kind of function is this? This is the rational function. This is rational function. And if you put x is equal to 1 in the denominator, so 1 square is 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. Means denominator becomes 0. So you know that in a rational function, denominator is never equal to 0. And it is now equal to 0. So this is applicable only when both numerator and denominator will be 0. Means it is of the form 0 upon 0, then limit exists. Means since limit x tends to 1, x square minus 1 is equal to 1 square minus 1 is equal to 0. So since denominator is equal to 0, तो clearly it is of the form 0 upon 0. It is of the form 0 upon 0, because if numerator is not 0, this function is not applicable because denominator is 0. So if numerator becomes 0, limit x tends to 1, fx minus 2 is equal to 0. Numerator will also be equal to 0. Means send this to this side. So we have limit x tends to 1, fx is equal to 2 is your answer. This one is the answer. Got it? Very simple question it was. Noted? All right. Let's see the last question. Last question. Fx is equal to 32nd. Fx is equal to mx square plus n. Second function nx plus m. Third function nx cube plus m. Limits are x is less than 0. Here 0 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 1. Here x is more than 1. See, we are given here we are given three functions and two limits. Where we are given two limits, these two limits are limits 0 and limit 1. If you take LHL, in the question we are given for what integers m and n limit x tends to 0 fx and limit x tends to a fx 1 fx exist, means we have to find both the values. So see, if you take for limit x tends to 0 fx, LHL limit x tends to 0 minus fx means limit x tends to 0 minus this is less than 0, we have mx square plus n, and if you put the value x is equal to 0, so what we have the value n. Now RHL limit x tends to 0 plus fx, so we have limit x tends to 0 plus fx, we have nx plus m, nx plus m, and if you put x is equal to 0, we have m. So since this limit is existing, LHL is equal to RHL, therefore for m is equal to n, limit x tends to 0, fx exists. Means when m and n will be equal, then in that case limit x tends to 0 will exist. Now for limit x tends to 1 fx, again we have LHL and RHL. So limit x tends to 1 minus fx is equal to limit x tends to 1 minus fx is nx plus m. Write the value x is equal to 1. So we have n plus m. N plus m. And RHL, this was LHL. RHL, limit x tends to 1 plus fx is equal to limit x tends to 1 plus, this is nx cube plus m, and when we write the value x is equal to 1, so we have n plus m, means LHL is equal to RHL. N plus m is equal to n plus m. It means for any value of m and n, for any value of m and n, because both sides are equal, m and n, so we can write for any values of m and n, limit x tends to 1 fx exists. This will be the answer. See this and note it. Noted? All right. So this was the last question of the exercise limit. Now we are going to start we are going to start the topic derivative. Derivative. Derivative means the value of function at any point in its domain. The value of function at any point in its domain means every function will have some domain, and in the domain if we choose any point, if we choose any point, then we have to find the value of that particular function in the given point from its domain. We suppose that f is any real valued function. Suppose f is any real valued function, then it will have some domain, and in its domain if we choose a point a, so at x is equal to a, what is the value of the function? Like suppose we are given fx is something a real valued function, its graph, suppose it has this graph at x is equal to a, at x is equal to a, what is its value? Suppose this value is L, so we can say this value at x is equal to a. At x is equal to a, we have taken any point, so this value will be the value of function in its domain. Means, in short, we explain this: if a real valued function is given, if a real valued function is given, the value of function at any point in its domain is derivative. Let f is any real valued function, real valued function, and a is any point in its domain, and a is any point in its domain, then the derivative of f is defined as f dash x, that is derivative f dash x is equal to limit x tends to f a plus h, f a plus h, this is limit h tends to 0, not x tends to a, this is minus fa upon h. This is the basic definition of derivative. This is basic definition of derivative. Means, if f is any real valued function and a is any point in its domain, so we take the nearby or neighborhood point h. So limit h tends to 0, fa plus h minus fa upon h is the definition. Now it has different methods to write. See, derivative is noted as f dash x, or y is equal to fx. If we write the function, then dy upon dx is equal to d of dx of fx. Means, this is called derivative dy upon dx. This is the method. And d of dx of fx. This is the method. Now we have algebra of derivatives. Algebra of derivative means, suppose we are given d of dx of f plus g of x, means sum of two functions, sum of two functions. So we can write this d of dx of fx plus d of dx of gx. And if it is minus sign here, it will be minus sign. So both I have written together, plus minus. If it is in plus, it will be broken in plus. If it is minus, it is broken in minus. And both the terms are derived separately. Now let's see d of dx of f into g of x. Product rule. It is very important rule. Product rule. So f of g, f into g of x. So what we do? First we find the derivative of first function into second function plus derivative of second function into first function. See how to write gx into d of dx of fx plus fx into d of dx of gx. What I have done? Second function into derivative of first plus first function into derivative of second. Now quotient rule, d of dx of f upon g x. It is important one. What we do? We write the derivative of numerator means see gx into d of dx of fx means denominator into derivative of numerator minus fx numerator into d of dx of denominator upon gx whole square, denominator whole square. So this is the method. In short, these two rules are written. Suppose d of dx of uv, it is called uv rule, uv product rule. We can write u dash v plus v dash u. Dash means derivative. So derivative of first function into second plus derivative of second function into first. And here for second, d of dx of u upon v. So we write c u dash v minus v dash u upon v square means derivative of numerator into denominator minus numerator into derivative of denominator upon denominator square. So these are the basic rules which are very important for the purpose. So note it down in your copy. Noted. Now let's see first principle of derivative. First principle of derivative. What is it? Let f be any real valued function, then f dash x is equal to limit h tends to 0 fx plus h minus fx upon h. This is the first principle. F limit h tends to 0 fx plus h minus fx upon h. This is the first principle. You have to memorize it. Now note it. Now we have a theorem. This is very important theorem. Derivative of fx is equal to derivative of fx is equal to x to the power n is equal to n x to the power n minus 1. Just try to understand. If any function is given, if any function is given in its exponential form, exponent form, x to the power n like, so what happens? This exponent comes first. This n comes first here, and we have 1 is reduced from the exponent, means x to the power n minus 1. This is the theorem. This is the theorem. Means fx is equal to x to the power n, then exponent will come first and 1 is reduced from the exponent. So nx to the power minus 1. For example, suppose you are given x to the power 5, x to the power 5. So its derivative is 5x to the power 4. 5x to the power 4. This 5 comes first and 1 power is reduced. Suppose you are given 5x cube. Its derivative is this 3 comes first, 5 into 3 x to the power 2 means this is 15x square. Suppose you are given x to the power minus 2, x to the power minus 2. So this minus 2 will come first. This is minus 2x to the power minus 3. It was already minus 2. 1 is subtracted. It becomes minus 3. So this is the theorem. How to prove this theorem? By binomial theorem. By binomial theorem. So since binomial theorem has not been taught in the class, so I am leaving this. You have to memorize this formula. Memorize this formula. Means and derivative of x. Suppose derivative of x. So what we do? X to the power 1. This is x to the power 1. So this 1 comes first and x to the power 1 minus 1. So we have 1 into x to the power 0 means this is 1. So derivative of x is always 1. Derivative of x is always 1. This has to be remembered. Now, one more thing. Whenever we are given any exponent, suppose you are given x to the power 4 and we have to find the derivative of this. So what we do? D of dx of x to the power 4. Derivative of x to the power 4. So this is 4x to the power 3. 1 power is reduced. And again we find the derivative of base. D of dx of x. So derivative of x is what? 1. So 4x cubed into 1 is 4x cube. Means in case of x, we never find the derivative of base again. But in some cases, suppose we are given fx is equal to sine square x, for example, sine square x. So f dash x is equal to d of dx of sine square x. So what is the rule? This power comes first. So we have 2 sine x. One power is reduced. And since base is other than x, so we find the derivative again. Means d of dx of sine x. So we will find derivative of sine x. Means we find the base again. And derivative of constant numbers, derivative of constant number is always 0. Means if it is not in x other than x, so derivative of constant is always 0. So this is all about the derivative. In next lecture we shall see some derivative of trigonometric functions, and it will be very beneficial for you. Till then, God bless you. Thank you very much.